Hello, I'm Brian Bowyer, and I'm doing a Getting to Know You in 25 Questions tag for my YouTube channel. Question one: what's your channel about? Nothing. It's like the Seinfeld show. It's a show about nothing, it's a channel about nothing. There's not a lot of content on there. I usually only post like drunken guitar playing videos or similar nonsense. How old are you? That's question two. 49. I will be 50 next year in April. Three, what's your relationship status? I am happily married to my beautiful wife, Carissa. We have been married for 5 years, but we have been together for 8 years. Question four, did you go to college / occupation? No, I did not go to college. I got my GED in Juvie Hall when I was 16. Then I got out, then I went back in, then I got out, then I got back in, then I finally got out of Juvie Hall the final time when I was 18, and I went to a business school. It was a 3 month course for an accounting clerk certificate degree type thing. And they just taught you the basic accounting equation: assets plus liabilities equals owner's equity. And they had a job placement program. And they got me a job in a bank when I was 18. So this was in 1991. Minimum wage was $4.25 an hour. And I didn't even have a computer on my desk. I had a calculator. And there was not one camera in my office. And my office looked like a back room in a casino in a movie, because my job was busting open bags of money, cash mainly, from local businesses and verifying their daily deposits. I mean, there were no credit card transactions back then, very little. It was all like mainly cash, some checks. And I made so much money that I had to draw maps so I wouldn't forget where I stashed it all, because I wasn't putting any of that money in the bank. Anyway, I quit there when I was 19, and I didn't go back to work until I was 33. And I still wasn't broke when I went back to work, but I'd been on vacation for like 14 years. Let's see, it was 92. I was 19 when I quit working at the bank. That was my first job, and I didn't get my second job until I was 33 in 2006 at a coal testing lab in West Virginia. And like I said, I wasn't broke. I was just like, man, I better go back to work eventually or sometime. I guess now's a good time because I don't want to go broke. I still have money in savings from that bank job. Crazy. Yeah, and all my friends at the time in Beckley were like, man, they put you in a bank? Man, that's not smart. Hey, man. Question five, where are you from / live? I am from Beckley, West Virginia originally, but I have lived throughout the United States, and I currently live in Marion, Ohio. Question six, looking back, what would you have told your 10-year-old self? Nothing. My 10-year-old self thought he knew everything, and he would not have listened to a word I said. He would have thought 49-year-old Brian was a total idiot. Seven, tell us about your family. Well, like I said, I'm married to my beautiful wife, Carissa. As of this recording, my parents are both still alive. My father just turned 75, and my mother just turned 71. And I have a 29-year-old son and a nearly 2-year-old grandson. And a brother, one brother. He's younger than me. He's 47. He's 2 years younger than me. Question eight, what's your favorite holiday? Halloween, definitely. And October is my favorite month, and autumn is my favorite season. Question nine, you have no budget. What is your dream vacation? Have no budget. Does that mean I have no money and I can go on vacation? I'll just stay home and read and write, which is what I would do anyway. It's what I love to do. And if money was no issue, I could do whatever I want, whatever the wife wanted to do. Happy wife, happy life. So yeah, anything Carissa wanted to do, I'd be cool with, because I'm just going to read and write wherever I'm at anyway. 10, name your biggest pet peeves. People being rude and inconsiderate to others. That annoys me. Question 11, what book changed your life? There were two. A correctional officer, an Italian dude named Moscar in Salem, in 1989 when I was 16, asked me if I read. He was like, do you like to read? And I was like, I know how. And he was like, well, if I bring you some books, will you read? If I bring you a book, will you read it? And I was like, yeah, what the fuck else am I going to do? But I had never read anything in my life up until that point, except for like the Bible and magazines and stuff. And he brought me 2 books, Pet Sematary, Stephen King's novel, and Stephen King's collection, Night Shift. And I read them both that day. I read the collection first that day, and then I read Pet Sematary, the novel, that night. Because in Salem, you had your own cell, and you did not have a cellmate, and you had your own light switch. So you could leave the light on all night and read if you wanted to. So that's what I did. And I was hooked, man. I was like, holy shit, man. Stephen King took me out of that cell. I mean, I was not even in that cell when I was reading those short stories in Night Shift. And then later that night, the novel, Pet Sematary, Louis Creed, Gage, and Church, and, you know, all that, man. I was like, fuck, man. This shit's killer. I didn't know fiction could be like this, man. And then shortly after that, man, I wanted to start writing. I was like, man, I want to tap into this magic. 12. What simple invention improved the world? The printing press. Was it Gutenberg who invented the printing press? 13. Favorite movies / TV shows. All right, I'll give you my top 5 of each. My favorite movies: 1, Pulp Fiction. 2, Natural Born Killers. 3, Goodfellas. 4, The Shining. And 5, From Dusk Till Dawn. And TV shows, I'll go 1, Seinfeld. 2, Curb Your Enthusiasm. 3, Jeopardy. 4, Headbangers Ball. 5, Yo MTV Raps. Question 14. Describe yourself using 3 fictional characters. I don't know how to do that. 15. What was your dream job? Filmmaking. I wanted to be a film director. I still do. Hey, I might make movies one day. You never know. I know I'm old, right? 49. It's kind of old to be saying, yeah, one of these days. But you never know, man. If I do make a movie, it'll be killer. I guarantee you that. 16. If magic was real, what spell would you learn first? Well, magic is real. So when you see so-called magicians like Chris Angel selling you their tricks and their secrets, that's what they are. They're tricks. They're not real. 17. Share a favorite childhood memory. My first memory of life is my favorite childhood memory. I was 2 years old in 1975 at the hospital the day my younger brother was born. I remember being in my father's truck between him and his mother, my grandmother Juanita, who died in 1999, 23 years ago. But this was 1975, so she was still very much alive, and I was 2 years old, and I was between them on the bench seat of my father's truck, and my mother was in the hospital giving birth. And then I remember being in the hospital looking at my brother through the glass after my mother delivered him. That's my earliest memory of life, that day, June 1st, 1975. That's my brother's birthday. 18. What is your favorite social media platform and why? Probably Twitter, for the character limit. Plus, everybody's like, you know, just to the point there. And I don't know. It's kind of cool. Facebook's like weird, like fake happiness. And Instagram's just more of the same. Happy photos, it seems like. I don't know. I like Twitter. If you could pick any character, who would you spend the day with? Einstein. The genetically enhanced or modified whatever dog with human intelligence in Dean Koontz's novel, Watchers. 20. What's your spirit animal? I don't really have one. 21. What old person thing do you do? I go to a mall and walk every day. I mean, this mall is almost abandoned. There is hardly anyone ever there. And I go there and I walk for an hour a day and I write on my phone the entire time I'm walking. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You know, get my cardio in and an hour of uninterrupted writing time. 22. Do you have a hidden talent? I'm pretty nasty on a pool table and a dartboard. And I was once upon a time a traveling all-star basketball player as a child. I can still play a little bit, but I can't run up and down the court like I used to. And I play guitar, but I don't know. That's not really hidden. I think anyone who knows me knows I play guitar. Oh, and I can also usually outdrink anyone in the room at any time. I mean, you gotta be a hard drinker to hang with me for real. 23, where do you see yourself in 5 years? If I'm still alive, anywhere, I don't care where I'm at, but I'll be doing the same stuff I do. Reading, writing, whatever. I may still be working. I don't know. I don't care. I love my job. I'll be cool with that. 24, share an item and tell us its significance. I pulled these out of my little storage bin over there. That second job I got when I was 33 after my 14-year vacation, when I quit the job when I was 19, didn't go back to work until I was 33, I got a job at a coal testing lab in West Virginia, and it was making oxygen bombs to determine the BTUs on the coal dust samples. It was like heat checks, bomb calorimetry, and I actually applied as a truck driver there because a friend of mine had failed the drug test and got fired. They popped a random drug test on him, and he told me about it. And I was like, well, man, I haven't had a job in 14 years, and I've been thinking about going back to work, so I'm going to go there and apply. So I went and applied for a job there to do what he was doing, which was just driving around local coal companies in West Virginia and getting the coal in bulk and taking it to that lab and dropping it off, and then going to another coal site and doing the same thing all night in a company vehicle. That's what he was doing. And they would just crush the bulk samples down into like smaller things, and then finally they would pulverize it into powder and put it in a bottle and put a label on it and ship it to the lab, which was right beside the prep room, and then run the analysis on it. But I scored high on the entrance exam, so they wanted me in the lab, and they were like, we're going to teach you how to make these oxygen bombs. They said it's the job that everybody hated. Everyone was like scared of it, but I actually loved it. But that's way back when I was drinking 24/7, so I had real steady hands, man, because I was like always drunk. But I was a highly functioning alcoholic. But these were the fuse wires we used, and I always kept spares because our QC guy, his name was Albert, and he was in charge of inventory. And where I was making these bombs way faster than anyone who had worked there before me during his time there, according to them. I mean, that's what they all told me. And apparently he couldn't keep up because he was in charge of the inventory. And I'd run out of these fuse wires, or would have. I would see him getting low, and I would tell him, like, man, we're about out of fuse wires. He'd be like, all right, I'm going to get some. And I'd put some back and wait and keep reminding him. And then by the time he would get there, sometimes I was already on the ones that I had stashed back. See what I'm saying? So it was a good thing that I did that. If you can read it right here, fuse wire for oxygen bomb. I don't know if you can actually read that. But yeah, that's so I started there when I was 33 in 2006, and I worked there for 3 years, and then I quit in 2009. That's a long story about why I had to quit to take care of my first wife after a catastrophic car crash she was involved in. But and I'd already used my FMLA to go to rehab just before then. So I didn't have any FMLA. But it's a long story, man. But anyway, when I quit there in 2009, I had these in my glove compartment where I kept reserve fuse wires for those oxygen bombs. I was like, oh, I'm going to hold on to these because that was the coolest job ever. I loved it, man. It was a fucking killer job. And question 25, now tag some people. No, I'm not going to tag anyone. That's all. Hope you got to know me a little better in 25 questions. Have a nice night.